Hello everybody, welcome back to the Advanced Vape channel. I just want to say a quick thank you to all of the people that gave their opinion about the giveaway, my idea for the giveaway, giving away coils in the last video. So I think that I'm definitely going to go with that idea, give away a few sets of coils to whoever gets chosen as the winner. And I'll probably start that giveaway with my next video, which I think will be the Reload RTA, because I have that on the way. But today we're going to be talking about the Pharaoh RTA from DIGIFLAVOR. It's kind of the follow-up to the Pharaoh RTA, which was sort of not really a dripper, but kind of. They called it a dripper tank. And I was sort of trying to hold off and not do this video yet, because this tank has the option for multiple decks. And I've been trying to get a hold of some of those other decks, and I haven't been able to, so I figured I'd just go on and come out with this video now, and maybe do a follow-up later if I'm able to get a hold of those decks. So this video today is only the single coil deck that it comes with, which is basically identical to the deck on the Pharaoh RTA. So I'll go on and take it off of here and show you what it looks like and everything. The bottom half of it looks very much like a Griffin. In fact, someone mentioned in the comments of one of my other videos that the Griffin 25 Plus bottom will actually fit in here. And I tried it and it works. So this very much is a Griffin bottom to it. Obviously the deck inside is different. So it's entirely possible to put this top section on the Griffin, but that pretty much means that it's a Griffin. The airflow and the deck and everything, this top section is really not contributing a whole lot to the performance. Maybe that cone shape a little bit, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So I've got a really big coil in there, and as you can see, the deck is very much like the Pharaoh RTA. The airflow is a little bit different. There's no longer three little boxes. It's just one big airflow there. It's kind of hard to see because the coil's in the way, but it's basically the entire length there of the coil. And the way that this clamp system works is the same, and I really love that about it. Here, I'll unscrew it real quick so you can see what I mean. I've got it really tight on there. Really nice quality screws, and it's spring loaded on there, so it lifts itself up, which is better than any of the other clamp style things out there. So the Goon and stuff like that, they don't have that spring, and it can kind of be a pain in the ass to get that coil in there if you have to try and lift them up. So I really like that spring system on this and the Pharaoh RTA. Okay, so the rest of the tank is pretty much what you would expect. It's got top fill, and it's got this top airflow thing going on where it goes in that hole and down to these little angled holes inside the cone at the top of the chimney. And I'll talk about this airflow when it comes time to use it, but for me it's like the way top airflow is on way too many tanks out there. And I also mentioned quickly that it comes with a little extender, which I haven't actually tried using this when I use the tank, because I think it looks a little bit ridiculous, but from what I can tell, it goes on the top here. And adds a little bit of height, a little bit of juice capacity to it. To me, I think that I just don't like the way that looks, so I haven't used it, but it's there. So let's go on and zoom in close and go through the dry fire really quick. And I will try my best to get a good angle on this. It's a little bit hard to get a good dry fire angle on here. So on this kind of build deck, where the coil is so low and there's these big walls in the way, what I'm doing here is actually looking down the kind of barrel of the coil to look and see if there's any hot spots on that underside, since it's sort of hard to see on the sides there. And I think we're okay. And if I didn't mention it earlier, this is a Staggerton staple build, where the stagger is on the inside instead of the outside. Not on the frames, but on the staple portion. So let's go on and zoom out and talk about wicking. So wicking this is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just a single path of cotton going from this juice channel into this one. But I'll mention really quickly, it's possible, just like with the Pharaoh RTA, to do a dual coil build on this. Obviously those dual coils are going to have to be much smaller, but just like the original one, they both have to be in the same line right next to each other, and the cotton goes through both of them at the same time, a single piece of cotton through both of them. And I think if you have coils that are small enough, it would work on there. I did it on the Pharaoh RTA and it worked fine, but I haven't tried it on here. I just thought that I would point out that it is possible to do that with this design, because you have openings here that aren't being used. So I'm going to be using Kendo Gold for this. So cutting the right length on this is kind of proven to be really tricky for me. I think that if you're vaping at a low wattage and you don't need it to wick super fast, really not that big a deal, just pack them in there. For my case though, I'm at a higher wattage and this is a really thirsty staple build in there that's pretty big, so I need it to wick really quickly. And getting it to do that without leaking has been a little bit of a challenge for me. So what I'm going to do is put the scissors kind of in that notch, like that. And then just lightly tuck the cotton down in there. This might actually be wicked too lightly because it feels very loose, but we're going to give it a try. So I've got the juice flow about halfway open. Not really worried about it being the first fill, having it all the way open, but if I go to refill it, I'm going to want to have it closed all the way down. And so I'm going to have this at about 65 watts. And this is my little double 18650 DNA. We're going to have the bottom airflow wide open and the top air all the way closed. And let's give it a try. So it does feel like it's wicking just a little bit too fast. As you can see, that juice just absolutely blew out of there. I closed the juice flow down just a little bit more, and I would say that the wick is just a little bit too little, just a tiny bit more, and I think it would be perfect. So it's not leaking from what I can see, but it's hanging right at that edge. If I open this juice flow all the way, I have no doubt that it would leak. So if you're trying to wick for flavor and you have a big build in there, I would try wicking it like I did, but just a tiny bit more. And we can go on and try re-wicking it a little bit more and see how that turns out. So I think the way that I did it the first time, it was functional. I don't think that it would have outright leaked, but it was wicking just a little bit too fast. And you know, it happens sometimes. I build all the time, and I still have to rewick every now and then. So don't let it bother you if you do it and it's not how you like it. Just keep trying. Some RTAs are like that, and I'm not afraid to say I have to rewick sometimes if I did it and it just doesn't turn out how I want it to. That's kind of the game that you play when you're trying to wick it, to make it wick juice as quickly as you possibly can. You kind of have to do a trial and error sort of thing. So this time I'm going to have that juice flow all the way open. It feels much more stable on there now. It doesn't feel like it's on the verge of leaking. Took a little bit of a hit in flavor, but no spit back, which there was a little bit on that first one. So sort of somewhere in between the way that I did it the first time and the second time. If you're trying to get it to wick really fast, if you just want it to be kind of stable and good flavor, then go with the way that I did it the second time there. The flavor, as far as a single coil goes, is very good. I have a big staple build in there, so I would say that that single coil has more surface area and kind of heat density than a lot of regular wire or small clapped-in dual coils out there. So the experience of that coil in single coil mode, it's still pretty intense and still quite dense as far as how it vapes. So now I'm going to try opening this top air. Just going to open up all the way, try it out. Okay, so I'm going to try and say this in a nice way. If you like cloud chasing, that top airflow is a great idea. If you like flavor, that top airflow is an absolute flavor killer. It completely annihilates the flavor. The only hint of whatever juice I have in there is actually bits of the juice hitting my tongue, not the flavor that you would normally get from the bottom air, but just almost inhaling some of the juice off of the side of the chimney is what it feels like. Is the only flavor you get. Other than that, completely nothing. It's like breathing in air. But it does make a big boost in the clouds if that's your thing. But I mean, you might as well be vaping pure VG as far as the flavor is concerned. Yeah, I can't stand that top air. I hate when companies do that. They have these top air things and it just absolutely destroys the flavor. One of the reasons why I was kind of trying to hold back on this review is I was hoping that one of those other decks, maybe one of the dual coil decks where the coils are in a different position, would really take advantage of that top airflow and it wouldn't be how it is. So that may be the case. I haven't tried the other coils, but as it is now on this thing, unless you're a cloud chaser, I can't really see using it. It just destroys the flavor completely. And the difference between having the air open at the top and closed and just bottom air, it's like night and day. Overall, with the bottom air, not the top air, the flavor on this is probably at the best for single coil RTAs that I've used. It definitely beats a lot of the other single coil stuff that I've tried. Admittedly, I'm not big on single coil, so I haven't tried a lot of single coil stuff, but I've tried a fair amount. It doesn't come close to the dual coil RTAs that I would consider the best out there. In terms of density and all that stuff, but I really wouldn't expect it to. But if you're a single coil person, I really like it, and I think you would like it too. I would really like to use those dual coil decks. I just couldn't get a hold of one, but I like that it has the option to change between them. So overall, it's a pretty good package to have that option, although I wish the decks were a little bit more available. Overall, I like it. I feel like it's made well for a single coil tank, and the price and all of that stuff. You can't really go wrong if you're into single coils. So I think that'll bring us to the end of this video about the Pharaoh RTA from DIGIFLAVOR. If you like this video on our channel, give us a like and subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions, leave them below in the comments or send me an email. Thanks.